neighbors.
Welcome home, neighbors.
Hello, neighbors.
We're listening from
Arizona,
Florida,
Maryland,
New York,
New Jersey,
Minneapolis,
California,
Utah,
Michigan,
Iowa,
Massachusetts,
Georgia,
Canada,
Our home resort is
Animal Kingdom,
Polynesian,
Bay Lake Town,
Old Key West,
WDW,
Boardwalk,
Alani Resort,
Hilton Head,
Boulder Ridge, Copper Creek,
Grand Floridian,
Saratoga Springs.
Beach Club,
and Wilderness Lodge.
and you're listening to
and you're listening
You're listening
to
My DVC Points.
Hello and welcome to DVC Newscast. This is episode 135. I am Shannon, and joining me today we have Pete.
Hey Shannon, how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. So, no, it's kind of been light with news. I mean, we have some good news, which is good.
Yep.
But nothing major, but we had something that
a few things to talk about.
Yeah, but there's one thing that we have talked about quite a bit of when this is going to happen, and we finally have a date. So we'll get to that in a second. But before we do, we want to give a shout out to today's sponsor, and that is DVC Resale Market. So if you are in the market for a DVC contract and you're unsure if you want to buy direct or resale, definitely check out our friends at DVC Resale Market. They even have, if you're just trying to learn about DVC, they have a great section, kind of like DVC 101, that can teach you all about use years and points, etc. So you can just learn about DVC, but then you can also kind of window shop for some contracts. That's how I ended up purchasing my first contract. I was window shopping and I put in a bid, and 5 days later, I was getting a cashier's check. So, but definitely hit up our friends at DVC Resale Market. And maybe if you are looking to sell your contract, then they can also help you out as well. So here's the first story that we're excited about, and that is the return of 1900 Park Fair. This is a long time coming. So Disney has announced that. Yeah, Disney announces that 1900 Park Fair is finally reopening. I added the finally. At the Grand Floridian on April 10th, after being closed for more than 4 years. A couple of changes coming from before. Now, the characters are going to be a little bit of an eclectic mix. It's going to be Cinderella, Aladdin, Tiana in her Splash Mountain gear, which I actually kind of like. And then Mirabelle from Encanto as they celebrate the power of a wish. A revamp of artwork throughout the restaurant with a continued theme of a merry-go-round. And then things that will return will be breakfast and dinner will both be available, and special favorites, including the strawberry soup, will still be on the menu. So reservations are expected to open on March 5th. So this is something, it's been closed since the shutdown.
Yep.
And this is the one we've talked about this. This is really, now there's a couple of things in Epcot that are closed, but this was really the last of the Disney restaurants that hadn't reopened.
Yeah, it really was.
And everybody. And it was one of the hardest to get. I mean, this was one you had to book right when it opened.
Very popular. Now it was originally, or not originally, but it was Cinderella and her prince, and in the evenings,
yes.
right? It was Cinderella, her prince.
It was evenings. It was Cinderella and Prince Charming.
Right.
Yeah, the Prince Charming. And you would meet them at the end. So you would meet them at the end and you would get a formal picture.
Okay.
I remember because Ryder got a chocolate and it broke. So all of the pictures are him with a very mad face. I had dressed him up as Prince Charming and everything went well until right before that picture.
Yeah.
But it also had the stepmother,
Yep.
the evil stepmother, and the two stepsisters. And that was, I'm sad that they're not returning, because that was we only did it once, but it was the most spectacular interaction.
They were so entertaining, like throughout. They didn't even have to be near you to be entertaining.
Yes.
Like watching interactions. Like I remember we were there and someone proposed to one of them, and they did this whole thing with both of them, and that the other one was upset that they got proposed to, and the stepmother came over and everything like that. It was like Cinderella and Prince Charming were like, okay, you're fine, but we want the three of them.
Right. Yeah. And, there were so many little girls there. So Ryder being dressed up as Prince Charming, and I want to say he was 3, maybe 4 at the time.
Yeah.
They went crazy for him. I mean, he walked out with like lipstick all over his face. And he even thought they were funny. Like he got a little embarrassed by them, but it was, and now he was terrified of the stepmother, terrified. But then so was I, because she was on point. But and the breakfast was different. So it sounds like these are going to be the same characters for both, right?
Breakfast, I want to say, was Alice and the Mad Hatter.
Right.
And I forget the other ones.
Wasn't it Mary Poppins?
Maybe it was Mary.
I never did the
Maybe it was
breakfast.
Mary
I never
Poppins.
did
Yeah,
the breakfast.
I've never done the breakfast either. We did the dinner 2 or 3 times when our daughter was younger.
But the thing with the dinner with those characters, you didn't have to have kids. It was entertaining even if you didn't have kids.
Yeah. In fact, the first time we went there, it didn't have the stepsisters. It was like Cinderella and the prince, and then like the 2 mice, the 2 female mice from the movie who I don't even remember the names of, because
Gus.
It wasn't Gus and Jack. It was female mice from the movie.
Oh.
It wasn't Gus and
okay.
Jack, which never made much sense to me. But
Okay.
Susie and Perla, that was it. Strange things you remember. And then subsequently they switched to the stepsisters, which was much more entertaining for the adults. I can see why they're switching it up. I'm sure there's going to be people that are upset by it, but I think by doing this, I think they're trying to appeal to a broader range of people by not just having it be Cinderella. I think, to appeal to one, maybe a little more modern audience. You got Tiana in there, you got Mirabelle in there, especially Aladdin there to appeal to boys a little more.
Yeah, it's definitely a good mixture. I think, and I think Tiana being in her Splash Mountain gear, because I believe that's going to be like pants. So I think that gives it a little bit of a different feel. And then Mirabelle, my son loves meeting Mirabelle. He's 8. We met her on the cruise. We're going to meet her in April at Disney on Ice, and he loves meeting Mirabelle. I think this is good. I'm just glad it's back because it's a great space. It's a small space, but it's one of those, the food was really good for a buffet, for a character meal buffet. It was very good. And it was entertaining. So I'm glad it's back. I was kind of, wondering when it was ever going to come back.
Yeah. And I didn't understand it because those are such money generators for Disney that they can charge, they're charging $50 a person for $10 worth of food and running, so many people through the place and everything. It surprised me that it took so long to come back. Even though maybe the issue was getting the characters, that did cause some delays with some of the other restaurants. But yeah, this is really the last of the character meals, unless you count, Trattoria.
Right. Because that's
Forno.
back, but it's not back as a character.
It was a character breakfast, right? It
was a character breakfast, yes.
Yeah, it was never character dinner. So that's the only one that did have characters that didn't. I actually hope they keep it that way because I love breakfast there, and it's only like $13 or $15. So
yeah, and I will say we had one of the best character interactions there with my son's name is Ryder. He was dressed up as Flynn Rider.
Right.
And it was with Flynn Rider, and it was just amazing. I gotta hope it comes back, but I understand.
I'm okay either way, but yeah, it's that seems to be the last one left that hasn't returned. As you say, there's maybe a few locations left. I can't really think of them off the top of my head, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are happy that the strawberry soup's coming back because that was very popular. I'm not a real soup person, but
I wasn't a big fan of it. Everybody was telling us about it, and we weren't really a big fan of it, but it was fine. It's not for everybody, but I liked it. It wasn't bad. I just wasn't, I don't understand what everybody's going crazy for this. But again, this is just great. I was so excited, and it kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Just here we're reopening, and it's like, okay, about time.
Yeah, exactly. Very exciting.
Next story is about another meet and treat event that DVC is having for Valentine's Day. And it's actually already partially over by the time we're recording this, but they just announced this, I think, late last week. And they said that there's going to be another meet and treat event at the Atlantic Dance Hall, which is similar to what they had for Halloween. They also had it at Christmas time as well. This is being done on 4 dates in February. So it was the 13th and 14th, which is just passed. And then also next week on the 20th and 21st, and it's going to take place from 2 to 4 p.m. And usually this involves meet and greets with 2 or 3 special characters, and usually some sort of treat as well, cookies or popcorn or something like that. They don't require advanced reservations for it, which is really nice, but each member is only allowed to attend the event once. So if you go on the 20th, you can't also go on the 21st. You can only go one time. If you're going to be at Disney next week, this might be a good opportunity to do something. You can pop out of either if you're in Epcot especially, or Hollywood Studios that day, it's a perfect thing to hop over there, take the friendship boat. It's right there on the boardwalk.
I was trying to see what the characters were, so I was able to find one reel. I haven't seen anything on social media, but it was Mickey and Minnie. The one pictures that they have are Mickey and Minnie and Horace and Clarabelle.
Oh, nice.
So, and they were together. So both were dressed up like it was a set. So it might have been just two setups, but 4 characters. And those are two, and the outfit that Mickey and Minnie were in were Valentine's themed and something I've never seen before. So I thought it was really, they were really special. I wish we had been there. We did the first meet and treat for Halloween back in 2022. And it was fantastic. It was really great. It was a long wait. I think they've kind of done a better job of it this time, but it was worth it. Like we got some rare characters, but they didn't have PhotoPass. That was the thing I was disappointed is they didn't have a PhotoPass photographer, which I think it's still a missed opportunity because your pictures with a PhotoPass are always going to be better. And when those pictures get posted, people are going to take notice of them. And I think that's just a missed opportunity. But, it's still great that they offer these types of things.
Oh, sure. So good to see it's happening more often, too, than just, 2 weeks at Halloween. You're getting more opportunities for DVC members to do these things. And for this type of thing, I don't really have an issue with the short notice. No one's going to make a special trip for this, right? You're going to do it if you're at the location. But I think it's great. Horace and Clarabelle, you see those characters in parades and things like that, but very rarely a meet and greet. So it's awesome.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, I think it's great. And, hopefully they'll have one for maybe July 4th or something. I don't know.
They should. Hopefully maybe they do Easter, maybe they do July 4th, as you say. Let's do it 5 or 6 times a year. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Now, this next big story is something pretty big. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised, but we're going to have to debate on what does summer mean. That is Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening summer 2024. And that Disney Parks blog has a post announcing the opening of Tiana's Bayou Adventure in summer of 2024. While no specific date was given, this is somewhat ahead of expectations, which I would say I thought it was going to be like 2025. An example of an impressive Tiana animatronic was shown, and then none of the other details shared were particularly significant. What do you think by summer 2024? Because summer technically ends, I think, September 20th, right? Isn't that the last day of summer?
So I got to imagine if they're saying summer of 2024, you're at least talking like July, I would think.
Yeah,
I realize,
so too.
sure, you could open it Labor Day and that would still be summer, but that's not gonna drive business for the summer.
And summer is, right. And summer tends to be, summer used to be when everybody goes, but now it's not. It's not now summer. And I know a lot of people that do go in the summer. They go right when, at least for South Florida, a lot of people go in the beginning of June.
Right.
They go in the beginning of June because June is not as hot as July or August. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one thing we actually found out with our daughter when she just did the college program, was she had a ton of hours when she got down there in May, and they were giving her she was working 6-7 days a week the first month. And same thing, Disney employees take a lot of vacation in June. So I think it's very common for Floridians and probably also other southern states to take vacation shortly after the school year ends. I would be very surprised if it would open for Memorial Day, because I think if it was going to, they probably would have already said the date. So I think when they say summer, I think we're definitely looking at July or maybe August. But I would be surprised if it's September, because if you're going to say summer, it really shocked me because they haven't changed California. California, they're still saying late 2024, and
California closed after.
It did close after, but it always seems like California gets things done faster than Florida. So I'm a little surprised, but maybe they're feeling the heat in Florida about having a lack of new attractions this year. And next year, for that matter, I don't think they got much new coming next year. Maybe they really wanted to get it open.
And I think I heard on the Disney Dish that the same people are a lot of the people that are working on the ones in Walt Disney World are also working on the one in California. So as they finish up certain things in
And they're moving.
in Florida,
Yeah.
they're moving. So that way there's some consistencies. That's probably also why there's a staggered, closing and start.
Right.
But our trip is end of July. Our trip, I'm looking at the calendar, and our trip is, I think, the 21st or 22nd.
Mhm.
So if it's open by then, it'd be great. I would love to be able to see it because, that was one of Ryder's favorite rides. And he likes Tiana now. I think he's sad that it's not Splash Mountain, but obviously he doesn't have a connection to Splash Mountain as much as my husband and I do.
Right.
But he really does like Tiana, and he likes the movie and he likes the characters. I think he'll be very thrilled to see it when it opens. And he loves that attraction, and they need that attraction because it is a people eater.
Yeah.
It is a people eater when it was, half the time broken down. It was a people eater.
Yeah, I'm excited. I was a big fan of that ride. I would often call it my favorite ride at Disney World, though I think Rise of the Resistance has probably passed it. But I really love that ride because to me, I find flume rides kind of boring and annoying normally, and they took what I would consider a boring and annoying ride and made it a lot of fun. And annoying by that, I got to get wet now,
Right.
Like to me, it was worth the entertainment of this ride was worth getting wet for, which I would say Kali is not.
Yeah. Or the one in Universal where you get drenched.
Oh, it's a great ride, but yeah, you get the Popeyes or Bluto's barges, whatever. It's such a good ride, but you get so wet. Yeah, I've only ridden it a couple times because of that.
I rode it with a poncho, and there was a pool of water on my poncho between my legs. Like it was just a pool that it was ridiculous. And Ryder wore it in a swimsuit because we weren't doing that.
Yeah. I think the last time we came from the hotel, we had bathing suits on, we did the 2 water rides, and then we went back and changed.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. But this is very exciting. I don't know, maybe, let us know in the My DVC Points community page and our group. What do you think? What are the predictions that when is it going to open up? I'm kind of curious. Yeah.
And Ceci just commented on the live stream here. I'll be there on September 23rd. So I think I'm safe to say it will be open. I would think so if they're touting summer.
That's fall.
That's definitely fall, but I hope it opens by July 4th. Yeah. Well, I think if they're saying summer, they're probably targeting July, but just hedging their bets in case there's a problem that holds it up, because anything with the water. I also heard they already got cars going on it. It must be getting pretty close. So.
Okay. And then, do we think there's going to be previews? You think there'll be cast member previews? I mean, I think there'll be cast member previews, but you think they'll do like the whole DVC annual pass holder previews, or not really?
I think they will. I think that gives them an opportunity to try it out in a format where if it breaks down and they have to close it, they don't have to be apologetic because it's not an official opening yet. Ceci also says when it opens, assuming Mine Train will be put on regular Genie Plus instead of individual Lightning Lane. I don't know about that. I don't think so. I think it'll stay on the regular. I think Tiana's Adventure. There's got to be a shorter way to. I'm going to shorten it to Tiana's Adventure. Close enough. I think Tiana's Adventure will be
Tiana's Mountain.
Tiana's Mountain. That's good. I like that. I think that'll be on the regular Genie Plus, even though it's a new attraction. I think
it'll be boarding groups though at first,
because I could see that. I could see that for the first couple months or something like that. Yeah, I could see that.
I don't think it'll be a boarding group. I mean, unless they're still doing boarding groups for Tron.
Yeah, but I'm amazed they're still doing boarding groups for Tron, quite honestly.
I think they'll end it with Tron, and then they'll start the boarding groups with this. Maybe. Because I just feel like there's going to be a lot of interest. I mean, it was an iconic ride. It was popular even before. So I think that there'll be boarding groups. And then I could see where they'll do, I don't know, if they do a boarding group, then they would have to do individual Lightning Lane. Because you couldn't do Genie Plus.
Right.
And then are they going to have 3? I think they might do that where they have Tron and maybe Mine Train goes to individual, because would they have
Yeah.
3 rides with an individual? I don't know. Who knows? I mean,
don't
your
know.
guess is as good as mine.
I don't know.
I have
So,
no idea.
yeah, Ceci, so the possibility of what you're saying that maybe they will move it. Maybe they will move Mine Train to the regular. Mine Train is still so popular. I don't know. They like making that extra money off of it. So
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, but when Mine Train goes down and it gets up, I think that was the last time we were there. It got up at the last of the night, and that line was so long. I mean, we were passing by it, and we're like, "Oh, that's them trying to redeem their individual lightning lanes, not having to give their money back." But this is very exciting. Hopefully, I'm pushing for it's open, around July 4th, so that it'll be up and running by the time we get there.
Yeah, because we still don't have Epcot, which was central area of Epcot was supposed to open in 2023. It's still not really done. I mean, yeah, the little garden in the middle is done, but the festival center building still not done, and who knows when. So anything that opens early in Disney World, it's like almost like a miracle or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
good to hear. All right, last story is pretty minor, but some members are interested in this type of thing. So for sure, DVC's been offering a lot of little bonuses. We had the collectible coin, we had the sliders and everything, and we have a new member bonus. It's a pin that says Membership Magic, and the pin is currently available at most DVC kiosks in the parks and resorts. I always say, check at multiple locations. A lot of times it runs out at one place, but you can get them at another. What's interesting is even though the pin says Membership Magic, it's actually available to all owners, whether direct or resale. So you do not, even if you don't have the ability to use Membership Magic, you can get a pin that says so. But you will need to present identification and your membership card electronically, and they may limit the pins to 1 per family. My guess is initially, if you ask for 2, they would probably do it, but they just want to, as they run out. I know with the coins, when I went, it was...
The coins, they were strict, but I understood
they were
that.
pretty tight with them, and by the time we got them, we had to go to a couple places, and the place we found, they were like, "Oh, we got like 8 left," and I was like, "I'm not going to try to ask for 2."
We got the one that we got the last or the second to last one at the kiosk we went to, and they were very clear: you only get 1 per family.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it was great. We had gone to a couple kiosks as well, and it was great to have it. Ryder stole it from me, but it's great to have. It's just free stuff is good stuff, right?
Yeah, I think these little things, they go a long way towards making you feel special. I hope they keep doing it. I hope they keep finding ways. They do it with the annual passes too. They have the magnets or whatever. So those are cute. Mm-hmm. So I hope they keep doing this. I would almost like to see, let's do magnets like they do for the annual passes, but instead of characters, let's have a magnet for each resort. And come every quarter, come out with a new magnet or something like that, kind of drive. Because if you make it like a set, then you drive the collectability of it, that people will want to come back and get their collection. Just a suggestion, Disney. You don't have to listen to us, but hey.
We posted it. I posted it on Instagram when we got ours. And it gets people asking, what is that? What is a DVC member? A lot of people, especially in South Florida, a lot of people go to Disney, but they don't know what Disney Vacation Club is. It just gets people talking. So I think it's a smart thing. Again, free stuff is good stuff. That's it for our stories. We kind of have a little extra bonus story, and that was we are recording this on February 15th. And today, reservations opened for existing DVC members that have purchased at Fort Wilderness, at the Fort Wilderness cabins. So I did see in our DVC community page, some people were able to book. Now, when booking opened, the site was down for maintenance, which was just
nice.
Classic Disney IT. I thought and even somebody posted why would you decide to do website maintenance right when it's opening for a brand new resort? But it was up and running, I think, fairly quickly. And a lot of people were able to get the timing. We're hoping to maybe book for our later trip, our longer trip later this year. I compared, now that the points are on the website, I kind of compared what a 1-bedroom would be at Old Key West, which is kind of our go-to. And it's 40, 50 points cheaper. Now it's a lot smaller. Sure. It's a smaller space, but that's another trip for us.
Yeah. I believe it's cheaper than every 1-bedroom except the Value Animal Kingdom bedroom, which is super duper cheap. But every other 1-bedroom is cheaper than, for sure.
No, you don't get a washer dryer, but
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
but you get a full kitchen and and I know people complaining like, oh, the bunk beds, the kids are in the same room as you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, they're in the same room as you in the studio anyways.
well,
You know
what
what I
I was looking at the layout, because that was one of the things I would look out is that
Yeah.
we would put Ryder. Now we're only a family of 3. So we
Right.
would put Ryder in the bedroom and then we would probably sleep in the living room.
Oh, okay.
And that,
yeah.
yeah, because one, I'm 47. I want to be close to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I don't want to have to walk across the whole cabin.
Right.
Let's be honest. Ryder's young. He can walk a little further. but that way we could be able to put him to bed and then close the door. And then those Murphy beds are super comfortable.
Yeah, the new Murphy beds
super
are way
yeah.
better than the old ones. Holy cow, yeah.
And I think the Murphy bed would actually be even larger. I think the Murphy bed, I believe, is a queen, whereas the bed in the bedroom is like a full.
Oh,
So-
no, it is a queen. At first,
it is?
the rumor was it was a full, but the main bedroom is also a queen.
Okay.
Yep. That would be pretty cool if you get in there. I think it will book up very quickly at 7 months.
I do too.
Especially when you think about that, probably only about, I don't know, 50 cabins or so. I forgot how many they said they were initially putting out there, but it's even though there's 350 cabins, they're not all going to be part of DVC. There's still going to be a large cash contingent. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, there's going to be less cabins than owners, so there still will be an opportunity at 7 months, but I don't know how easy it'll be. As I said, I expect a lot of people will be trying to snatch them up at 7 months. Your trip is in July, did you say?
No, that trip would be most likely in November, what we're looking at, because our
Okay.
annual passes are going to expire sometime in November. So we would probably try and go right before they expire.
But it'll be right around when because April, what did we say? It was April 23rd?
April 23rd is when so my 7 month is at the beginning of April or end of March, whenever
Right.
we decide to go.
So
it would,
that first
yeah.
day that it opens, when there's a whole bunch of availability, you might be able to
Yes.
get in there. Yeah.
and that's how I was able to get into Grand Floridian when the resort studios opened.
Yeah.
I booked on that day and I wasn't really planning on it. I just happened, like I saw it on our community page. Everybody's like, are you booking? So I was like, oh, well, let me look for that weekend. And I was able to switch, and it wasn't that much because it was only 3 nights that we were going. And it was perfect. So yeah, you do have a lot of opportunities. So I think that's when I'm really going to try and do it this time, because it's going to be probably the best opportunity to get, 6 or 7 nights. Yeah.
Yeah. That first day, because we did the same thing with the Poly when the Poly first opened.
Right.
We booked when they opened up the dates, and we booked within 7 months. And of course, there was a lot of availability there as well.
Well, we will remind you when it's coming up. So definitely stay tuned to future shows. We will remind you, because I'll probably be reminding myself. Before we go, we want to thank our 3 sponsors, DVC Resale Market, DVC Rental Store, and Monera Financial, for their continued support of the My DVC Points platform.
Yep.
And with that, I will say, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to have a reminder for people that like to listen to the show. Make sure you subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast network. Because we do not have a regular publishing date like most shows do, we do come out when there's news. Make sure to subscribe, and then when our show comes out, it'll pop right into your feed. You'll see it there. You can listen to it. We're usually a breezy 25, 30 minutes, so perfect thing for the commute to work. And enjoy the show, I guess. And yeah, with that, we're going to say goodbye, everybody.
Okay. See you real soon.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, please watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
Aw, chill up, Dad. You know I'll come back. With DVC.
My DVC Points is an unofficial Disney-inspired podcast created by fans of Disney Vacation Club. The thoughts expressed in this podcast are personal opinions and personal experiences. My DVC